here we are. Once again, took me like half an hour to find this cow and Coco. They got in the neighbor's yard and I can't fucking, you see my chewed up boot, thank you Milo. I can't find the hole and I'm trying to break this barbed wire with my bare hands. Not really smart since if I have to get a tetanus shot, then I have to go to the hospital. Stupid. I wore shorts. What was I thinking? And I'm sure there's so much poison ivy, snake grass, and I hadn't run into a rattler yet, but hey, the game's not over yet, so this is my life. Moo! Here, Nance. Moo! Can you move for us? Moo! Here you go. I'm gonna try and get her to come home, till the cows come home. Might be time to move back into the city. Y'all are doing okay today. I'm doing better. I was a little bit grumpy yesterday because we had a couple days of rain and that's hard for me. I love the rain. I will always love the rain, but it takes a little bit of a toll. Still gray today, but I'm going to be able to walk the dogs, which should help. Anyway, so I am going today to cook, which is kind of amazing. I have, I'll try not to tell a long story, but here's the deal. As I posted a photo yesterday of me and my 8 siblings, and as a middle child, it really fell to me to do quite a bit of the cooking for a long time. And I had really limited ingredients. We were on a very small budget. So we'd make things like we call Girl Scout stew instead of Boy Scout stew. That's like a package of elbow macaroni and maybe, a can of, off-brand tomato soup and some ground beef, right? I used to have to roll out, we get these tubes of fatty ground beef, and I'd have to roll them out every Saturday, like flatten them, and then use a lid to make circles of ground beef, and then put pieces of wax paper in between them and freeze them. And at night I could get out like a couple of circles of fatty ground beef and defrost it and like use that as the ingredient for pretty much everything except hot dog night. And then Fridays we had fish or pizza because, Catholic. But anyway, I became a good cook. It was a place for me to be creative. And I went on into my adult life to learn how to not cook fancy or anything, but just to be pretty confident in the kitchen. I had this boyfriend in the 80s who turned me on to food co-ops and showed me how to chop garlic. And I used to make this thing when I lived in Knoxville. I called it shit in a pot. I know that sounds very appetizing, but it was just take everything you can find in the fridge and kind of throw it together and make sort of a soup stew sort of a thing. Anyway, time marched on, and I used to have these incredible dinner parties in Austin. Not incredible because they were fancy, but like I would just invite 20 or 30 people over to have homemade pizza or soup or whatever. That was just not a big deal to invite so many people over. But sometime in the last couple of years, due to a couple of things, I just completely stopped cooking. The sad part of the story is I have an eating disorder, but I'm doing much, much better with that. The other part was just practical. I live alone and I only know how to cook for 11 people because from a really big family, and I can only do so much. I can only eat leftovers so much. So, I just stopped cooking. I like to eat in town. I like to go to Barton Springs and then get a green smoothie, or I eat a Rockstar bagel almost every day. Thank you, Joey. And I hope your business is holding up. But here we are now, and going to restaurants is just not happening. So I decided that I was going to, I went to Wheatsville yesterday. I know, I never learned, but that mean guy wasn't there, so it worked out okay. So I got a bunch of stuff. Look at that. That's about as much food as I usually eat in a year. But I got it. I stocked up so I don't have to go back to town again, hopefully, for like a month. And then I decided I was going to make this red lentil soup that Paula turned me on to the recipe. Paula was my roommate in college. We're still great friends. She is an amazing cook, and she's turned me on to some really good stuff. She's more about using the recipes, and I'm more about just like throwing stuff together. But once in a while, I follow a recipe. So I went, I forgot to take the recipe with me to Wheatsville, and I had to sort of guess the ingredients, and I got everything except the garlic. garlic, so important. But my friend Kevin's going to bring me some garlic later, so all is not lost. So Paula's red lentil soup. It's so funny. I got out I have a lot of cookbooks. I hardly look at them, but I have all these recipes on pieces of paper, and I would write up the recipe like 6 quarts of veggie stock, parentheses, I get cheap ass bouillon cubes. Okay, not that cheap. Or 6 cups of dry red lentils, much, much cheaper in the foreign aisle at H-E-B than in the bulk section or at some freaking hippie store. Of course, I do go to the freaking hippie store. But I had so much fun. I'm not going to actually cook in front of you because that would take us forever. But I'm going to make red lentil soup. It's so thick, it's like a doll. And some jasmine rice. And I'm going to make some of this dill bread, which is really good, moist bread. It has cottage cheese in it. But really what I wanted to share was I had so much fun yesterday. You know, I keep lots of ephemera around, and then I'll go through it once in a while, and I'll have all these beautiful memories. I don't just have traumatic memories. I actually have some beautiful ones. And it just cracked me up that I found, like, okay, so here's the recipe for latkes from my friend Andy, my Jewish boyfriend from like 1994. That's his Bubby's recipe. I have this recipe that my friend Sue sent me. I'm not going to go through all these recipes, but I did find one image I wanted to show y'all. I forgot. I used to make wedding cakes, right? We saved money in our family by having do-it-yourself weddings. I'm not sure, but I think this was my sister Dolly's wedding cake. Look at the details on that. I mean, I could freaking make these bazillion tiered wedding cakes. But as I was going through all these recipes, this is white trash lobster bisque. I found, oh gosh, this just moved me so much. I don't even know how it wound up in here, but let's see. Oh, my cheesecake recipe's in here. Some of you know my cheesecake story. I used to compulsively make 30 or 40 cheesecakes every Christmas to keep the oven full so there was no room for my head. And one time I told a therapist that, and she said, you know, that's OCD. You don't really need to make cheesecakes if you don't want. And then I gave her a cheesecake, and she sent me a letter, and she said, I know I told you you can stop making cheesecakes, but if you make them next year, please keep me on the list. That was delicious. So here's the thing I found. I'll read, and then I'll let you get to your day. I don't know how this wound up in the recipe file. You can see it's quite old and food stained, as everything in that folder is. It's from May 18th, 1998. It's called A Poem for Skinny by Henry and Spike Gillespie. Skinny was Henry's guinea pig, and you know, she died. Circle of life. And so I guess I was maybe teaching Henry that, like, a way to deal with your feelings is to write about them. So here's this poem that we wrote together. Skinny was my guinea pig. She was very nice. Her white and red-brown hair waved when she jumped. Whenever I opened the refrigerator, she would make a noise like this. Weet, 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 weet. She knew I was going to give her lettuce. Boston was her favorite kind. Skinny died tonight. I will miss her and remember her. Gosh, that just took me right back to the house that we lived in Hyde Park that was falling down. Like, a dog would pee on one side of the house and you'd have to mop it up on the other side because it was at such an angle. I don't know. I'm not minding all this time that we have. I'm just kind of floating through my life and through the house and finding things and focusing on happy memories, and it's pretty cool. So today's question, I guess, is, are you cooking? Are you not cooking? Are you going through your stuff? Are you having happy memories? What's going on with you?
Hey y'all, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you'll like and subscribe to my channel. And if you like this episode, I hope that you'll copy this link, share it with a friend, paint it on a wall, put it on your social media. That'd be great. Thanks a million. Take it easy.